What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34. I'm here. I'm live. I'm ready to go to talk about some things that have gone on in the music world. And wow, what an awesome show from SiriusXM last night, April 18th, 2021. Mr. Dave Matthews live at home, or live from home by request, show number 3. And just a heck of a show, a treat for Dave Matthews Band fans across the country and even the world. He has someone from Brazil present one of the songs as well. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about some just changes and updates in the live music world. And also answer any questions you guys have. And we'll take a look at one of the big things we'll take a look at today is some of the rarities that were dropped, but specifically Break For It. And what was done in that song that even if I knew it was coming, I wouldn't expect it to be played the way it was played. But it was, has a little bit of a minor or sad twist to it that was not expected. We're going to look at some songs because there's the way it's very unique, the way Break For It was played. So we'll look at that and I'll let some people roll in here. So a couple weeks ago, SiriusXM and Dave Matthews Band promoted, hey, send your videos in for this third live at home by request show. And this has been a great little series to just hear some stuff with Dave specifically. And I'm all about hearing Dave's guitar. I can't say anything bad, even if the songs that aren't played in a Dave solo show, like, for instance, the Salesforce show that was done earlier in the week as well. That show was on the 15th, and they had The Ocean and the Butterflies, Singing from the Windows, The Space Between. Those would not be the 3 songs I would have chosen, but they just sounded amazing. And the main thing was Salesforce, had some people in. They had some great conversations before the music commenced at the end. But it's nice just to hear Dave's guitar and hear him. That's why that's what makes the band. I mean, obviously Carter Beauford as well, and his talent and the violin. But I mean, I really the main thing is Mr. Dave Matthews, right? I want to hear his guitar, and nowadays you don't hear it as much. I always preach that. You hear the horns overplaying him, you hear Tim overplaying him, but just that acoustic guitar is a very, very key component to the actual band, even with the uniqueness of Carter's drumming, ambidextrous drumming, with the unique original sounds of Leroy Moore, who played soulful sax with rock music, unlike anyone outside of Bradford Marsalis. They were the real two OGs of that smooth sax in rock music. No disrespect to other saxophone players, but they are like on a different level. The way they can bend in and play with different artists from a rock, an acoustic rock, or adult alternative field. But I mean, again, we come to see Dave, right? He is the main. That's why it's the Dave Matthews Band. We've lost Leroy Moore, and he's been missed. But and again, Carter again is just a talent that he's a national treasure. But we want to hear Dave. So the 15th, we got three songs, as I said, and then yesterday a pre-recorded but live at home by request show. We're going to talk about it here. So first, I like how there were so many rarities and deep cuts. This was definitely the third time was a charm, and the other ones were great, but this was a charm just because of how, again, you just got so much special plays from Dave that he hasn't really even played live in a minute. Now the deep cuts for this, Up and Away, hasn't been played since 2006. You never know, is it to me a deep cut, even though it was played in 2019. One of the highlights of 2019 was I caught that twice, once in Hartford, once at the Gorge. And then Beach Ball is the other rarity as well. Again, just hardly played. Break for It is the other rarity. And then we have, I would just put this on a B list, but also these are gems slash rarities. You have Raven and Beach Ball. Right, these are two songs that Raven is hard to come by in any era, but especially nowadays. It's hard to come by. So, and then Rooftop came back last year, but after the Away from the World stuff kind of floated out of the set list, you didn't get it that much. It's a pretty. I like it as far as one of the Away from the World songs that I think are really good, especially live. So definitely, the big thing there is, again, you have these rarities that Dave picked himself, right? Obviously, he chooses. He's probably getting everything. Monkey Man, Machead, which was a song recorded with Before These Crowded Streets, not to be confused with Machine Head by was that Bush, but Machead. Everyone wants to know what that sounds like, so people are probably requesting these uber rare stuff, and he played a lot of these rare songs for what he typically, you don't get this even from special shows. So I salute Dave for that, and I mean he did his thing. I can't complain about what he played. And even the So Damn Luckies, which are in rotation heavily, the Crush, Minarets, like these were still great playings of it. Even the Ants marching and Where Are You Going? I mean, they were really quality plays. So Up and Away to me is the rarest of these songs, and it starts off this thing, and it's that set the tone, right? Hadn't been played since '06, and it's just something that is very, very rare. So I think I was like, wow, okay, we're getting a special show once you get Up and Away to open up. And I love that album, and I wish they had played. It's only been played 16 times, counting yesterday. But I really wish that Some Devil would have more of a showcase, because what I'm gonna request if there's another one of these shows is Trouble. That's a special song to me, and to do just different parts of my life. And I really love Some Devil, and this, Up and Away was a great start. You flow into So Damn Lucky, You Never Know, Crush, The Maker, and then we get Rooftop. And shout out to the West Point graduate and one of these amazing servicemen who chose Rooftop. And the brother said that he, during this pandemic working, he would go to his rooftop to find peace and listen to Rooftop. With the craziness of this pandemic and his role during the pandemic, it just sounds like it was in some sort of medical portion of whether it's in the army still or whether it was as a civilian. Um, this is something that he's used, and he also had met Dave, I guess, backstage at one of the West Point shows years ago, which is pretty cool. So that Rooftop was a special thing, and Beach Ball, just an incredible song that should be played much more than it is. It was nice to get that Dave solo, and with Beach Ball, there was a mom who requested Beach Ball, and her son, she asked, "Hey, what do you want?" He's like, "I want Minarets." It was so cute. But so Dave did both of their requests, which was a cool little mix up in the middle of this set to do a mother's request and a son's request for it. And then the main attraction of this of what made this special was Break For It. And what made this unique is this is a major song. And just to go through some things, Dave typically plays major chords. So that's an A major, right? He plays major chords when he's singing about, typically when he's singing about happy things. So in like So Damn Lucky, even though it's about a car crash, like he's still playing that major upbeat happy type thing because he's like it's amazing what it makes you do. I'm living. I didn't die. I didn't succumb to some bad fate. And you also have minor stuff, and it's just a sadder sounding chord, and you have a lot of that with the sad stuff or the intense stuff, like the Stone. So that, at the beginning of the Stone, it's intense. And then even in the Stone, Dave plays the upbeat stuff and I was wondering if you would come along. If you come along, hold up my head, go on. So usually that's the case. Is you have this upbeat stuff. Excuse my singing. Am I horrible? But even in the Stone, he switches back and forth. So you have that, major upbeat lyrics. You have major chords. Minor, you have minor. And Break For It is a happy song. Dave calls it a driving song. A couple of times when he played it. This is a good song to drive to. It's a driving song, right? But instead of playing the major stuff, what he did was he kind of goes from major and he does a little minor. And it has the same similar formation as a Dancing Nancy's, where you're just moving down you're changing from one note and you're going down a half step. So you're just going to the next available note. On the keyboard, you're going to the next available key. So he's doing that with, but he's singing happy, and it's because the main melody is. And in the regular version, you have this major sound, you have these major chords, but again, he switches it to playing upbeat stuff, but then he goes into the minor. And he switches it up to. I can't do it right now, but it's interesting that he does something where he's messing with your mind by playing those minor sad chords, going from the major to this, almost diminished minor chord, like Dance and Nancy. And it's a pretty cool thing. And it was the whole thing, he has this pre-recorded drum track or beatbox track, whatever, and then he does this whole build-up. And that was definitely just the moment of the show where you're like, okay, I wasn't expecting that song, and I wasn't expecting him to play it like that. And Dave will do that even with, I look back to Drunken Soldier, right? And Drunken Soldier at the Gorge in 2019, not only did he play the song, which you didn't expect, he switched the lyrics a little bit up, which is rarer by the year as he gets older. But he switched the lyrics up for the song, and it was definitely something where just he does that. And then even with What You Are, he's done a little more of a funkier version of What You Are before at Madison Square Garden some years ago. So there's times where he'll mix things up, but this is a rare moment, and it was awesome to get it here. And with that, but also even on top of all this special surprise, there was a teacher and some of his students that created this request. At the beginning of the request, the teacher's like, "Oh, I'm stressed out with grades," and and then it flashes to the teacher's students who know he likes DMB, and they say, "Hey, we should ask Dave to play for our teacher, Mr. So and so." And then they're like, "Oh yeah, let's ask him to do Ants Marching." And then one of the students is like, "No, Mr. So and so likes deep tracks only. Let's ask for break for it." So I mean, it was just wonderfully put together. And all the requests were pretty cool, but you saw that between the mother and son for the Beach Ball Minarets, and even the Ants Marching request was tied to 4 college roommates who had been around back in the day. That was their song, was Ants Marching, and to this day they're in different. They were in Zoom, like you could tell they're different locations, but they still. That song brings them together and reminds them of the great days of being together in the college dorms in the mid or early 90s, right? When that Ants Marching was a popular song, even before it came out officially, was still a song that if you went to Dave's shows, even in 92, 93, you got that song. So pretty cool the way that, some of these people requested it. Although with Crush, that was the cheesy, don't be that DMB fan person, because the lady was like, "Hi, my name's Ashley, just like your wife." Like, come on, you think Dave doesn't know? Like, it was a little cheesy, but hey, man, Dave picked it, so I guess he liked it. But I was just like, my name is the same as your wife. Oh my God, like we're meant to be. But apparently that song was about having the Dreaming Tree wines, and so she name dropped the Dreaming Tree wines, and then it was like her and her husband used it to celebrate something, and it was like, really? I have the same name as your wife. Oh, really, Ashley? You're a white girl named Ashley. Oh, what are the odds of that? No way. But it was just a eye rolling moment. But hey, a fan. Dave picked it, and Dave did a good job for Crush, so pretty cool. But this was awesome. I really think the folks at SiriusXM, especially Ari Flink, who has been a big part of just listening to fan feedback online, including mine, and Mr. Dave Matthews himself for an awesome performance here, about 53 minutes and 58 seconds, according to the Almanac. So, next up, I want to talk about some of the latest on full capacity live shows. And really, the only main changes, there's been some updates this week. And those people who have updated the full capacity shows, they're moving towards October now. Right? They're moving towards October. So there were people that were moving things to late August and September. You still have certain things that were moved there as far as festivals. But certain things were, like I said, now are being moved. And I was on Twitter yesterday, and Thomas Rhett moved his Charlotte date to October 8th. One of the DMB fans had posted that and said, hey, what's up with DMB? And, we're still waiting. Meanwhile. And I just, right now, I think the delay, and shout out to John Dix, who was on last week, who said he really had people that he had a source that said that it was moved. They're trying to reschedule. And I do believe that. I think that they're trying to figure out ways to get things done in late 2021, but I still don't see any possibility. Because it's, again, a general, these shows, if they were scheduled for 100%, as I've said the last couple of videos, they can't reduce the capacity. They either have to be able to sell it or have the crowd come in as is or not. And I don't think we're going to have full capacity shows until September that test out a general admission area like a pit, like a lawn, or even having a crowd full scale. Yes, you have had certain events, certain gatherings that have been nearly full, like the Texas Rangers had a one-off like that. And still to this day, they're selling their full crowd, which they won't sell out again because that was just we're going to show them opening day in this new arena, new ballpark. But I still think that for live concerts, it's a different ball game, literally. And it's just because you have to in order to make a profit, you really have to be close to sell out, right? You can still turn a little money if you manage everything right, but these concerts bank on full crowds. And the only thing that may be a little sparse is the lawn, right? They'll give away tickets if it's a bad selling show, and you'll see things fill up. They have reward members and different people who have privileges to get some of these discounted tickets or even free tickets or comp tickets because they invest so much into the Live Nation locally, the Live Nation shows. But you have to have an ability to have a full amphitheater, including a pit. And you have to have a lawn that's either filled up well, or if it's a lesser popular show, it's filled up to what it can be, but the pavilion is mostly sold out. And they're gonna, there are some socially distant shows going on Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion and some other venues as well. But for the most part, that's not feasible for the big acts because of what they need, the cost that the venue has to provide to get the show, the kind of the showrunner or the demands that the artist has at the venue, at that venue, what they got to pay them. Even understanding in this COVID, they want their money. Dave Matthews is not going to walk into Saratoga Springs and say, you know what, I'll play a show for half the money. All right. That's just not something their agent would even let them do. Right. You could do a show for charity, but they're not going to go to SPAC and say, oh, you just pay me, pay me 400,000, 500,000, pay my whole band that amount, right? Or whatever that half the price is. That's not happening. It's just not a business move that the powers that even in the management would allow to happen. So it's going to be difficult. I also just caution this. We've seen festivals move to September. Some of these festivals may not go down. And I think that's something to put people are pointing to. Well, this festival is this month, or this festival is in September. Yeah, it's scheduled, but we don't have it. We don't know. And part of this with COVID is, again, it's not it. There's extra caution by the bands themselves and the venues. Another thing with COVID is I just got my Johnson and Johnson vaccine last Sunday, and thankfully before they shut it down for, there was definitely, it's sad that someone passed, and it's scary to see people with blood clots go by and, have to go to the hospital. But even the person who was in the hospital with the blood clot said, hey, I still think you people should get this vaccine. Even after they went through all that, they could have been upset at J&J, upset at whoever. They can't sue them, but they could have had all sort of outrage. They said, hey, I still think people should be vaccinated. And I don't think that was media pushing them. I think that was what they were saying. That, like, I had, just to be honest, with the J&J, I had for about 2 days, I had bad flu symptoms. You can ask my girlfriend. I was on the couch, and I was not able to get up for day one, and then day two, I still felt like crap. So, but I would still, even with that reaction to the vaccine, which is common, but not everyone's getting what I got. Where I was just out of commission for 2 days, I still would recommend people get it. And that's going to be key to this. I know you have your anti-vaxxers or just people who don't trust it or think this is a scam, but the real way to get concerts back is herd immunity. And if there's not enough people for herd immunity, it's going to be difficult because there's always that chance for an outbreak. That'll still, eventually concerts will come back, but the pushback against the vaccine, we need a certain percentage of people to get this vaccine, and that's going to really help get things fully back to how it is without any concern or delay, because cases are picking up again, even though now people of all ages in most states are able to get an appointment now. But things are picking up, and it's getting to younger people. These are things that matter because you have teenagers and college kids who go to these concerts for the most part, for a good percentage of the shows. And if they're the ones getting COVID, that's just always going to be a concern, whether people are vaccinated or not. Another thing with this is, I've said it, I think one other time, the entry and exit process in 2021, if they started having shows in September, right, or even late August, people are still going to be required to have a negative COVID test, or they have to have the vaccine and show their card. And I just got my card, right? This is cool. Yep, I can just show them. But even that process is going to be hard to get everyone in. Think about any Live Nation show you've been to, any large show outside of Live Nation, maybe Paciolan or AXS tickets, or your local college that may not be tied to Live Nation, just a Ticketmaster show. It's already a stressful process to get in these lines because post 9/11 measures were taken, post other terrorist events, the Boston bombings really changed the purse size. Even though purse sizes were getting smaller, it really changed the purse size thing for sure after the Boston bombings. But it's already tough to get into a venue, as it should be, right? We need to protect and keep things safe. And I appreciate the security staffs at many of these venues I go to, the local police at these venues I go to, make me feel safe to go to these shows. But even with that said, sorting through the tests and or COVID card and making sure it's legitimate. They're going to have to do that for every patron that comes in. And if you have 100% capacity, that is going to be a challenge. It is going to take longer, regardless. If something in 2021, and that's why I hope that that we get to 2022, and maybe they're not checking COVID negatives anymore because we have so many people that have the test. So many people have caught COVID. Like, look, at this point, we've had X amount of Americans get COVID or get the vaccine. Maybe they'll still have a minor screening, a temperature screen, or maybe just something real quick, and you're at your own risk. But right now, even in 2021, there's going to be that request that, hey, you need to have a negative test in certain states. And that's the challenge that the bands have, that certain states may require other things. And Live Nation is going to have to come up with a policy too, because we have socially distanced shows for Live Nation, but we have not really had a full stadium or an arena or amphitheater show at 100% since the pandemic hit. Just shows that are right now, even into the next couple of months, that are going to be socially distanced shows, meaning they have a quarter of the fans or 10% of the fans coming in. You can screen everyone that way, right? You have 10% of a 20,000 person venue. That's easy to go through all of them, let them all get to their seats. There'll be plenty of open space, but a full lawn, a full pit, I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening till the end of the year. And it's just because it's tough. A full tour is tough. A festival is going to be our test dummy, right? One state, one location for 2 or 3 days. That is feasible for full crowds. Should it permit in the fall, again, those could still be canceled. The other thing here, Live Nation is there's talks that Live Nation is setting up for the Gorge to have it's setting up for the Gorge to be able to stream shows even if a full crowd can't be there, right? For this upcoming Gorge concert season, especially towards the end of the summer. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. But Live Nation is pushing for $15. You can watch Young Thug, or there's a couple other artists on a streaming service that they bought. And you buy a $15 virtual ticket. And this has been going on for many smaller acts. Comedians have done this. But for Live Nation, the thing that kind of is a turnoff to me, and we'll see. I've seen comments on social media where people are laughing at it, and some people are saying, yeah, awesome, I'd like to see it. The artists that they have for this are not artists that are just like, oh man, I can't wait to see them on this streaming. So like, to me, it just, they don't have the right. They play the same set every night anyway. And they're just like kind of run of the mill. You've already seen them at a festival. And that's the thing about this. Let me see if I can find. Virtual concert. So Veeps is going to have Young Thug, Lanny, Water Parks, Lucky Dave, Young M.A., iDress, Freddie Gibbs, Chase Atlantic, Breland, JP Sachs. First of all, I've never heard of a lot of these people. I've heard of Thugger, Lanny, Young M.A., Freddie Gibbs. I don't know who these other people are. But the point is, they're charging $15 a pop. They start May 7th all the way through July 9th. And the thing is, a lot of these artists, if to get to this point, they've probably already put out a set on Lollapalooza or some of the other hip hop related festivals that they're having now. And Coachella, right? Bonnaroo. A lot of these artists have already put out music, and they already have a 45-minute set that you can go see. So, and I know Young Thug is for sure. Like, I've actually seen him be streamed on some of the hip hop festivals that have come out and come around. So I don't know what the appeal is to go to pay $15 to watch a virtual concert with them. I'm sure some of the diehard fans will, but there's nothing that's going to be special about that. I think what may be appealing is if Live Nation does stream for acts that actually mix it up, like Pearl Jam, like the Avid Brothers, like Dave Matthews Band, Fish, Dead and Company. If those artists who have that, you don't know what they're going to play, this special rarity, you may have people pay. I would pay for some of those acts $15 to watch them virtually. And they already, also these acts already have streams that you can buy and that you will be able to buy even this year, right? Like Humphreys McGee. You'll be able to buy the streams to their shows if you can't make it. But it'd be interesting to see what happens with that. How much revenue they bring in. They're just looking for whatever revenue they can get, right? They get 15 a pop and they get people who are just bored that are going to buy it. That's not really expensive. I just think for some of those artists, it's not worth it to pay $15 to watch a stream concert, because you kind of know what you already know. We already have free stuff online of these artists doing a full show, and these aren't artists who mix it up and do super uber rare stuff on any given night. It's what you saw a year ago. It's going to be the same type of thing, unless you get a different in-person set that you can experience, in-person lighting. It's not worth it just to stream it. So we'll see what happens. But that's all I got for right now. I am in the process. If you can see now, the camera is a little better facing me. I just was the vacuum in the back that way because I've been vacuuming up this area, got a new desk. I've had this new mic for these Saturday night streams, a new computer, got new effects and video editing software. So I'm going to be working on getting this set through the summer to give you guys better content, to have better features to the stuff I put up. But definitely like, comment, subscribe. I'm hoping we can get some more people on Saturday nights to just give me more of a Q&A type of perspective, because I would love to I love these conversations we have on social media about what's going on, where I'm at, where you guys are at, what you guys are experiencing. And for those of you guys watching the replay, the goal is to have between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. to start a stream every Saturday night, so that we can have a recap of the week, what was going on. And again, I love the conversation. When I did this a couple years ago, and had more people engaged at the live streams, it was nice. It was great to talk back and forth and go over some things, and even go a little bit outside of the music. But definitely like, comment, subscribe. Instagram, Conserviz34, Twitter, Conserviz34, and here on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, and it'll let you know when I go live. Give you that alert on your phone, so you can tell your girl, hey, I'll be right back. I gotta watch the Conserviz34 stream. No, I'll be back. No, this is important. right? This is gonna get me in the mood. No, let me. But same thing. Tell your man, hey, sorry, I gotta watch Conserviz 34, right? And but I really appreciate the support and those of you guys. I know even some people who can't make these streams, who give their feedback and always are talking to me on social media. But it's your boy Conserviz 34. That's all I have for tonight. Peace.